Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel and HX Stomp channel. It's Friday and I know I said I was going to do a free set Friday, but I got too busy learning songs for a gig tonight. They sprung a set list on me yesterday. There were 12 songs on it. I didn't know. I had to cram 12 songs yesterday for about 2 hours, and then I went to see the Generation X show, which was awesome, but super long. At least an hour longer than it needed to be. I got there at 7:15. I left at 12:30. Holy shit. The show started at 8-ish, went until about 20 after midnight. Woo. Longest guitar solos you've ever heard in your life. Let me tell you, Zakk Wylde really likes that one lick. Woo. Holy cow. And he played it a lot. And then he walked around the entire, I don't want to call it an arena, but the Moody Theater where they film AC, the Austin City Limits, is pretty big. And he walked right past me. So he went all the way through the downstairs, then up to the balcony, and then from one side of the balcony to the other side of the balcony, went on to one other side, and then hung his guitar off over the balcony and played another 4 minutes of guitar solo. Whew. It was funny because you could hear his guitar wireless cutting out as he was going up and down the stairs. But he didn't lose tempo. You got to give him that. Holy smokes. And he's really good at that one lick. Oh, my God. That must have gone on for 6 minutes straight as he's just hiking around with a little crew of guys with flashlights. Good times. Super fun, entertaining. Steve Vai was awesome as usual. Nuno Bettencourt, to me, the biggest surprise and most interesting tonally. I really loved his stuff. Tosin Abasi, can't get into the 8-string stuff. The cool slapping stuff he did was awesome, but everything else was just Malmsteen was Malmsteen. Although Malmsteen rushes. He plays fast, he plays ahead of the beat a lot. And there's basically the Generation X show is like they've got a house band, they've got a drummer, bass player, and keyboard player that play for everyone. They play all night long. So there's no breaks, no set changes or anything. I counted 39 amp heads on stage. That includes the 30 that Malmsteen brought with him. Probably only 2 actual amps. And 26 412 cabinets. 15 of those were Malmsteen's, and the rest were maybe even more. He might have had 10, 11. I think he had 15. Yeah, 15, maybe 17, I don't know. But yeah, everybody else had a pair. So, but the highlights of the evening to me were Malmsteen and Vai doing Black Star, the way that it should be done with 2 guitars. Oh, that was awesome. Finally hearing it that way live was beautiful. That was awesome. They did Bohemian Rhapsody, which was nice, all 5 of them. They did Hocus Pocus by Focus, and then Frankenstein by Edgar Winter, which was awesome. Yeah, it was a fun night, but super long. Oh my God. Anyway, today, I really only have time to do some more snapshot fun with the HX Stomp. I can't get to the free set Friday today because I've still got to cram for a couple more tunes before I leave the house in 2 hours. Eek! So, shall we? Okay, I just figured out something really cool, and I thought that I didn't think this was a possibility when you go to save something. Whoopsie. Pressing the view and the action button at the same time. You can press the page button to the right, and there's still the delete and insert character, so it makes naming your presets a lot faster. I didn't realize it was there, so learned something new myself today. Good times. Now, I had a question from a viewer asking, what if I have a parameter that's snapshot enabled that I want to disable? That's super easy. All you do is go into, you hit both page buttons at the same time, hit Control or Assign when you're on the block that you want to change. So you just find the parameter that you want to, that was snapshot enabled, and then you change it to none. Hit the View button, bam. It goes back to the original orangish, yellowish, sort of a burnt umber, really. But yeah, and that's the way to disable a snapshot. You can enable them the same way by pressing both page buttons, hitting Control or Assign, and then scrolling until it says Snapshots. Although it's honestly easier to push in the knob and turn it, to me. More intuitive. But so that's one super slick thing that we can do with the snapshots. What else do we have? Here's another question that I got. Why the snapshots? Why not just go from preset to preset? Well, the snapshots are basically like having a preset, but you have a set group of blocks, and you have to make whatever you want out of these snapshots from these particular blocks. On a different preset, you can have different blocks. So you actually get 3 different presets within every preset using the snapshots. More if you use the external switches. So, you can choose to change any of these parameters on the compulsive drive. I've chosen to change the gain, and that's pretty much it. Although, when I do my lead boosts, and I like to make a bunch of changes when I do my lead boost. So let's change up some parameters, assuming that you've got an external foot switch. Hit both page buttons, Control or Assign. Let's go to the tone. Now, I'm using FS4, and that's a Boss FS5U single momentary foot switch. Really cheap, they're like 30 bucks. And it makes a great added external switch option. And I had the minimum, I had my my tone set to 3.3. I like to drop it a little bit when I hit my leads. So we will drop it down to 3.0. There are other parameters that I like to change. I like to change some amp parameters, like the master and the presence. So hit both page buttons, hit Control or Assign. Now what we want to do is we want to get up to presence, FS4, because that's what we're using as our controller. And I think I had it 2.0. I like the this to come down to 0 when I, blah, 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 when I hit my leads. What else do we want to do? We want to go to the master, FS4 as well. I always use my master. I start with a minimum of 9.2 on this particular amp model, and I go to 10. So now, when we go over to the what do you call it? The amp model, and I press in my FS5U foot switch, you can see the presence drops to 0 and the master goes from 9.2 up to 10. And then the other parameter, sadly we can't look at it because it will automatically go to the last parameter you changed. But we can take a look at it. It's the tone. So the it goes back to the amp. But the tone will have changed to 3.3. So if I press it again and then go back and look at it, it'll be a 3.0. So that's with the boost on. This is the boost off at 3.3. And other things you can opt to change. I like to change parameters within an IR as well. I like the high cut to reduce. So what I'll do is I will hit the page buttons, go to Control or Assign, go to high cut, FS4. We were at 4.8 kilohertz. We're going to come down to 4.2 kilohertz. And when I hit the switch, bam. So less spiky top end when I'm playing solos. That's basically all it is. And you can change your output level as well. Sadly, on this one, I can't because I've already, you can tell that it's already been snapshot enabled. So if I'm changing it per snapshot, you can't change it with an external switch as well. So that's sort of the trade-off. But there are ways around that. I like to go over to the output block. Hit the page buttons, controller assign, the level, FS4. We start at 0. Careful, this thing will run away on you like it just did. Start at 0, and then I like to boost about 3.6 to 4.4-ish. Hit the view button, press the boost, bam, from 0 to 3.6. In a second, less than a second. So there you go, more snapshot fun. Email me any of your questions to thehelixchannel@gmail.com, and I'll try to answer them. If you want to do any private lessons, I do FaceTime tutorials or Skype lessons, and getting people over the initial learning curve is the goal of those, and it's really easy, super fun, good time, and I highly recommend it. So that is that for today. There you go, everybody. More HX Stomp snapshot fun for you. I got to tell you, the snapshots really are the reason for the season with the Line 6 Helix stuff for me. And almost unlimited possibilities within the HX Stomp. I haven't maxed out the amount of snapshot parameters that I've tried to manipulate at once. I maxed out on the Helix a bunch of times. I think it's like 36 or something. So I'm going to try it on this and see if I can push it beyond its limits, or to its limits. You can't push it beyond its limits. It won't let you. So, good times. Don't forget there is a pre-order link for my Union Jacks HX Stomp presets in the description. I'm going to go to the rehearsal room on Sunday and set the volumes for those. And then I'll get them out to everyone that's pre-ordered. Good times. And they don't use any IRs. There's a set that uses the stock cabs, and there's a set that uses, that goes direct into, well, not direct, but, well, out into my power amp and then into a guitar cab. So 2 different types. I'm going to try and do that with all the preset packages for the HX Stomp. I mean, we'll see. People might not want them. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back on Monday with something HX Stomp related. So come on back. I'll see you then. And until then, rock on.